Good evening. Millions of Australians have been given a breather from the interest rate torture the Reserve Bank has been inflicting since February. After 3 consecutive hikes, it's resisted forcing loan repayments up again, keeping its official cash rate at 4.35%. But the RBA has already warned more pain could be coming.
Fruit shop owner Daniel Flaminio's worried consumer spending's going pear-shaped. But today...
There it is. As expected by many economists, rates on hold.
Some relief.
I guess everyone's relieved. We've had 3 rate increases this year, so we needed a bit of good news.
The Reserve Bank keeping rates on hold at 4.35%. The board's decision unanimous, but the inflation battle far from won.
I want to be very clear that inflation remains too high. We might have to do more. I'm just not ruling that out.
Buying time with the rest of the world to see what comes from Donald Trump's promise of an Iran peace deal on Friday, whether petrol prices come down and when the financial impact of the war will fade.
We're realistic about how long it will take for the global economy to normalise and what that means for us.
The banks divided on what comes next. The Commonwealth, NAB and ANZ all predicting no further rises this year and 2 cuts next year. Westpac predicting 2 more rises this year and 2 cuts, but not until 2028.
There's that risk that they have to go further in August and September.
November board meeting might be a good time to expect that.
And crunch time is fast approaching for the fuel excise cut. The government indicating it'll make a decision next week on whether to end it or extend it beyond the end of the month.
We'll give consideration to those matters.
That relief won't go on forever, but we will continue to review it between now and the end of the month.
The 32 cent a litre cut due to end on June 30. Daniel Flaminio says his customers are already tightening their belts.
Instead of buying premium fruits, they're looking for value for money.
And looking to bag a bargain. And Reserve Bank Governor Michele Bullock says Australians shouldn't be too alarmed if economic growth slumps even further over coming months. That's something she says has to happen to get inflation down. The hope, though, is that it doesn't force mass job losses at the same time. Keeping unemployment low is the second of the RBA's major objectives after inflation. And the Governor also delivered a timely reminder for the government. Inflation was a big problem for our economy well before this war started, and it will continue to be a big problem well after it ends. Mark
Riley in Canberra, thank you. In breaking news, shock jock Kyle Sandilands has reportedly reached a legal settlement with his radio bosses after being sacked earlier this year. Angelique Opie joins me now. Angelique, has Kyle had a win?
Mark, we understand Sandilands and ARN have reached a deal which will see the former Kiss FM star paid $15 million over the next 3 years. Sandilands was originally chasing close to $90 million, a full payout on the remainder of a 10-year, $100 million contract. Analysts said that was never going to happen, and Sandilands is reportedly pleased with the outcome and looking to move on. ARN has told 7 News it will confirm nothing until it gives a market update on the matter, expected sometime tomorrow.
OK, Angelique, thank you. Ben Roberts-Smith has been banned from attending an army event in the Hunter Valley next week because a judge is worried he could tamper with a witness in his war crimes murder case. The Victoria Cross recipient was back before a Sydney judge today, hoping to have his bail conditions changed.
Ben Roberts-Smith back at court.
Today is just about being able to see my children and moving back to where we actually live.
The former soldier arrested off a flight at Sydney Airport in April and charged with 5 counts of war crimes is now seeking changes to his bail. Wanting to move from the Gold Coast to Brisbane. That will be decided by the court next week, but already determined by a judge today, permission for Roberts-Smith to fly to Canberra next Tuesday for the official opening of Australia's new Anzac Hall. The judge agreeing it was appropriate in the circumstances.
Absolutely, I'm a Victoria Cross recipient.
But not even that could get Roberts-Smith his third wish, attending an Australian Army march out at Singleton next week. Among those graduating, Henry Diddams, son of Blaine, killed in Afghanistan in 2012. Diddams and Roberts-Smith were comrades and friends. He treats the fallen soldier's son like one of his own. At least 100 will attend, including dozens of Australian Army personnel.
In handing down her decision, the judge said the risk of interfering with evidence or potential witnesses was too great, instead ordering Robert Smith to watch the march from a live stream.
Are you disappointed not to be able to attend the march?
The hearing continues next week. Nick Overall, 7 News.
Donald Trump is claiming his Middle East peace deal has been signed already electronically, but in reality the deal still faces many challenges. The US president has been diplomatically welcomed back into the fold among G7 leaders, the same leaders he spent months insulting.
Sunshine in the mountains, the red carpet rolled out for Donald Trump.
Everything is very nice, thank you.
But these two don't always get along. The business of peace is very serious.
We've signed, the deal's all signed, and the strait is already partially open.
Signed electronically, the president says he'll skip the formal signing in Geneva on Friday, sending Vice President J.D. Vance instead.
If the Iranians comply, benefits will flow to them, and that's what we hope to see.
Both countries will stop fighting for 60 days to allow further talks on Iran's nuclear ambitions. The carrot, a $300 billion reconstruction fund. It's unclear how much of that will come from American taxpayers. Then there's US ally Israel. The deal includes a ceasefire in Lebanon, but Benjamin Netanyahu insists there will be no withdrawal of Israeli troops.
We created there a buffer zone, a security zone. We will stay there as long as necessary.
Donald Trump has landed in the French Alps with a big problem to solve. He now has to sell his deal to the European leaders he's been insulting for weeks. Alongside Emmanuel and Brigitte Macron, the target of his mocking. The lineup of world leaders now expected to fall into line and help clear the mines Iran laid in the Strait of Hormuz during a war the US president started.
Emmanuel has been a special friend of mine. We've had a fantastic relationship.
It's a very important step towards peace, but as well for global economy.
With many more steps to come.
Let's go to Isabel Mullen at the G7 in France. Isabel, what's on President Trump's agenda today?
Good evening, Mark. Well, Donald Trump has another hurdle to overcome today. He'll come face to face with leaders from Middle East countries that have really bore the brunt of Iran's retaliation. Countries like Qatar and the United Arab Emirates, which came under direct military bombardment. They'll want to know what the plan is moving forward and how the US president intends to navigate this really delicate relationship between Israel and Iran. They are not countries that are officially part of this G7 grouping, but they have been invited here by Emmanuel Macron, knowing that their fate lies in Donald Trump's hands. Mark.
Isabel Mullen in France, thank you.